Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Path of Exile, in which we smash all the things, including these guys. Intimidated by Perandus chests no longer. Okay, cleared it. Loot, lots of loot, lots of loot, lots of loot. Great helm. I keep thinking great helms are meant for me, but they are not. They are meant for Templars. Okay. So, two missions here. Grab the waypoint, hand in the key, and then make it over to the library. The reason I'm handing over the key is because I'm also carrying the Decantus Spiritus. And I can't do anything with it until we get a Cheetah's Plum. So, rather than the usual path straight to the library, we're taking a slight detour. Also, we're being stalked. Ooh, this guy. Hello there. So, it's more or less instantly back at 4 charges. That means that the death explosions of these guys don't really do much. So, one of the downsides of running ahead after you do your first hit and then just waiting for the aftershock to kill things is that if the monster that dies actually drops loot, you have to go back or you miss out on the loot. Frenzy on death, okay. Hit hard, hit once. That's good. I'm pretty good at hitting hard and hitting once. Oftentimes it is enough. So, door has been touchified. And then we can just portal back. Waypoint, ooh, clickety, clickety. Yes. Imperial Gardens. So, library. Because library gets us nice things. A lot of useful support gems are obtained from the library. Fortify being one. So that's going to boost our defenses even further. And once we get our Ascension class, one of the perks is going to be that once we are fortified, we get a 30% extra damage. It's not the one I'm going for initially though. It's probably going to be the one I pick up in Merciless. I think the first thing I'm going to follow is the arc that focuses on using endurance charges for all kinds of interesting purposes. First upgrade is going to make us more tanky. Second upgrade is going to turn endurance charges into damage charges. So that's a good thing. See, it exploded nearly very close to the edge of the screen. So if the monster dropped loot, I probably wouldn't even see. So my inner pack rat is just very averse to leaving loot on the battlefield. Because you know, what if a unique item drops? Then and you don't see it. That's a wasted unique. So that kind of gets into the whole what if a tree falls in the forest debate. But yeah. If loot falls, but it falls off screen, did it really fall? Well, knowing it could potentially be there means I feel like I'm losing out, and I don't want to lose out on loot. Ooh, turn the other cheek. We get pacifism, which is corrupted. That's so interesting. Yeah. More dead guys. Also a dead end, so that matches. Here. Yes. Ice shots. I mean, most of the time Sunder is already enough to kill most enemies. So Sunder is actually gonna be my attack that applies Fortify. Because Earthquake is gonna be the one that gets less duration. And for the rest I'm probably gonna spec them the same. They both need increased AoE, or they can both use it. I'm not quite sure if they need it, but I think it's gonna be a useful one. So I'm going with it. Also, why did you run away out of the aftershock? That's kind of rude, mister. Superior point blank. Ooh, Tyrannosaurus Maximus. Oh, Tyrannosaurus Maximus, sorry. Makes more sense, I mean, Ursus is a bear.
I cannot carry this.
We killed him. And we have a lot of loot, man. Okay, put it that way, and we grab this one. And we can at least make it to the waypoint. Also, currency. Open up trunk, yeah. Keep going. Right. So ideally I don't want to find any more loot, because that would force me to go back. Which, at this point, I mean, I desperately need shards of alteration or orbs of alteration, because I keep using them. Just rerolling flasks to be right, master crafting that I'm finally started with. So I'm still in that stage where I'm very, very hungry for orbs and therefore very hungry for items. Hello there, guarded by a rogue exile. Was somewhere in there. I think there's still someone behind the door. Yeah. Alright. So this is gonna be a brief town stop. I always try to keep them to a minimum, but
happy to share my hard-earned wisdom with.
Gotta go to town if you gotta go to town. It's kind of how it works. So, sort of things that I actually don't care about, just sell them as they are for some shards. Oh, that one was yellow. Because I'm not finding enough raw currency yet as it is to make it worth just skipping over everything. You got 5 and I need 10 to craft some extra life on my arena plate, for example. So I'm thinking about it. Let's see. Are you any good? No. Well, just sell it later. Let's go back. So, full leather. You keep going. Ooh, what a building. So, skills are ready to level up. I'm also almost ready to level up. And there is Siosa.
Let's speak again.
And the waypoint. Good.
I am honored to serve you, my ancestor.
Currency. Ooh, that's a nice pack. Boom, boom, boom. And that was them. And I keep finding very large items that have chromatic links. Yeah, we were on the way here, increasing the stun on enemies. A bit of luck, might gain 2 levels, so we actually gain full benefit of the keystone, or not keystone, it's not a big one, it's just the minor keystone thing against Dominus. And we found the archives. At least found on 1 page, that's good. Large guys. Well, that's what I meant. I mean, you can hit them twice and they're dead. And you can do that in the same time as you wait for the aftershock to kick in. So the aftershock is most useful against bosses, just to clear to do extra damage, of course, against the boss and to clear add-ons. Against regular packs in combination with Herald of Ash. I mean, suppose if you turn off Herald of Ash, the dynamics are going to be different. Actually experiment with that a little bit. So turn Herald of Ash off. See how much of a difference it makes in just clearing regular packs. So Aftershock killed that guy. Once again, I think I was tied with the Aftershock. Oh yeah, it's actually some... okay. But now the packs are just so small. Yeah. If you're trying to run an experiment, then suddenly all the monsters are just hiding. You are my research subjects. You're supposed to cooperate. Yeah. Happy research subjects. Okay. So... the radius was actually pretty big. I mean, you don't need Herald of Ash to explode rooms. Oh, double yellow. That's interesting. So, even if you're not running Herald of Ash, Earthquake is pretty darn potent. It's just a lot easier with Herald of Ash because of lots of overkill damage. And of course it adds 15% extra physical damage as fire. What's color? And we're already, because of the added fire, we already have 31%, so that's another 15, that's 46%. So basically half the physical damage is also added as fire on top of everything. So that's pretty good. Hello there, Trinian. How are you doing today? Oh, you're a bit flat.
To an exile, coins are as useful as teats on a bull.
Series Foible. 20% increased mana. It's an amulet. Mana regen amulet. 50 extra mana, 12% increased maximum mana, 59 increased mana regen. Items and gems have 25% reduced attribute requirements. So, thinking out loud, most support gems ended at 111 required stats. So, this would knock off about 30 points. Roughly 27, 28 off of that. Yeah, let's say you're gonna end at about 80, 85, somewhere in that range. So that means you have to invest less in stats. On the other hand, basically a good dual stat amulet is gonna count the same as the 25% reduced attribute requirement if you are only using off-color gems and not off-color stats. On the other hand, all the mana, I mean 50 extra mana, 12% extra mana and a ton of mana regen. This is very good for a build that uses Mind over Matter. Yeah, the thing that killed me in one of my builds. I'm actually gonna buy it. It's
might I unburden you of some cumbersome...
It's too good an opportunity to pass up, so we need 88 coins for that. Bit of shocking as I load the town. Let's see, we already have 4 coins, so we need another... yeah, whatever. Oh wait. One more. So, 88. Well, as we're in town, might as well sell things.
Ask away.
Just move on afterwards. And these two are yellow, so we can just sell them, get some currency. Life is good. Let's just move everything to the side here. There, we go back and we buy the unique.
Allow me to turn your coin. You're getting quite a deal.
And now we bought any unique jewelry. I mean, doing this, of course, to get all the achievements. And potentially for interesting builds, enabling items. I mean, something that enables Mind over Matter might actually be interesting, because I've dabbled with Mind over Matter before, and it actually cost me a Templar. But it might be because I enabled Mind over Matter just before going into the Dominus fight, and it was a very tanky damage reflection Templar. And basically, he just kept at a 0 mana, so he couldn't actually cast any attacks. He couldn't use any skills, and yeah, that was kind of unfortunate. And eventually, Dominus in his final form just wore him down. It actually took him a while. But we can just put him back. Just put Sphinx in our stash. Yeah, let's do that. So Mind of Matter requires a lot of mana regen, or some way of not making your attack use mana. Now, for example, by relegating, by using blood magic. That's a decent way of not requiring mana if your primary attack uses blood magic. That was the wrong portal. Okay. Let's try this again. Let's use the waypoint rather than a portal. But sometimes we want to go back into a portal. So, library. Talk with dude. Get skill. That's how it works. So, life leech, fortify, blood magic, and increased duration. Well, we want the opposite of increased duration. But fortify I will happily take from you. So, we take the fire damage. Actually, we're gonna take the endurance charge on Melistan off. That might be a better one. Because we already have Earthquake for generating all the endurance charges we want. So if we make Sunder just a utility skill that can hit far away enemies and apply Fortify to ourselves, then the more damage it does, the better. Okay, well, yeah, let's do a little bit of shopping, see if we could potentially buy increased AoE, because I think we should be able to get it, even as a Marauder.
Hello.
Chance to ignite, blasphemy. Oh, blasphemy is also very useful, but it requires more int than we have. But it's good to get anyway, because it's low level. That means it requires a less int than if we buy it when we are at a higher level. Increased duration, less duration. We want that. Because that's 20% more damage and 40% less effect duration. So for the Earthquake, currently 627 listed DPS. Take the fire thing out. We only lost 50 DPS. But what's the... It's 1.5 seconds. It's gonna be 40% less. It's gonna be 0.6 seconds less. So it's gonna hit after 0.9 seconds. Which is gonna be a lot better. Yeah. I'll put this one all back. Anything else? Fire penetration. Well, we were doing a decent amount of fire damage, so you could make an argument that fire penetration might be useful. Increased burning damage. I think Herald of Ash, it ignites, so linking that with increased burning damage might not be a bad idea. It's 20% increased mana reserved though, so it will take 30% mana reserved rather than 25, which I think I could actually live with. Let's take it. Let's run the experiment. No, but that's probably going to be an experiment for next week. Just take everything out. So we need to get into the Hedge Maze. Well, next time we need to do the Hedge Maze to get the trials and to get the Chitters Plump. So yeah, let's actually head towards the first level of the waypoint in Spire of God, or the Sceptre of God. There was an icon there that I couldn't quite place. Chill and freeze immunity. Oh, of course. That's what I've attached to my Quicksilver flask. The idea being, if you want to run away, you don't want something as insignificant as being frozen to get in your way. So now that I've got Fortify on Sunder and my endurance charges on Earthquake, I actually have to remember to cast Sunder.
The Karui do not hide in towers built of fear.
Well, it's a pretty decent one to just use as an opening move, so to say. And there's always archers and things around. The monster variety actually works to my benefit there. Well, just some monsters that are a bit on the fence on whether to join the battle or not. A 5-second duration on it. That's a bit on the short end. So it might actually be beneficial to link increased duration to Sunder to increase the duration of Fortify. Well, at least I'm assuming that's how it works. Let's see, don't really need that bow. Ooh, Regal. That's a nice one. Might be useful to upgrade one of my rings or something. Or maybe a weapon, so I can actually mastercraft it after I've used the extra damage recipe on it via the vendor craft. So walking into a group without having been in combat before always means that, of course, you're not running around with the maximum number of charges. It's potentially an issue. It means that you'll have less physical damage mitigation, less elemental resistances. But on the other hand, big life pool and life regen can actually mitigate quite a bit of that. And as you engage in combat, build up your endurance charges, you build up your resists. So your regeneration is just going to continue to restore your life while the resistances and all the mitigating factors actually makes, well, ensure that you take a lot less damage. Could also put the Fortify on the leap attack actually. That way you just leap into battle. Okay, there's a door there. Ooh, you are yellow. That means you must die. And that's a big one. Not gonna pick up. Nope, not gonna do that.
Talamoana, warrior.
Hello, Haku. Well, I've already got you at level 4, so there's no real purpose in going further, because you're gonna get a pitiful amounts of XP. Also, they don't let me create any more daily quests because they're level 4 now. I need to first finish normal before they continue. Hey, hello there, Kalika. Here. So, just alternating attacks. Works reasonably. Another staircase. I'm getting pretty close to the waypoint now. Would definitely be easier to have a Fortify on Earthquake. That's because then you can just keep attacking and one attack is going to be responsible for both the endurance charges and your Fortify status, and then everything else can just remain, because now I have to consciously think to mix the attacks, and it does break a little bit of the cadence I've got going on with just running in and just smashing things until they stop moving, which actually is very satisfying. So Sunder is an excellent leveling skill. Once you got Earthquake, its utility as your primary, it changes from primary skill to secondary skill. That's the probably the biggest takeaway here. And waypoint. Excellent. So, well, it's good. I mean, it took 5 extra minutes to get to the waypoint, but it also means that the next time it's going to be very easy to get to Dominus. We only have a Shadow to Sceptre to sell. This is pretty looking. Ah, it's a new one. Trap cooldown. Wow, that's good. Okay, I'll just deal with the gems later. So, well, that was another gem-packed episode. So next time on, we're gonna go into the Hedge Maze, run a trial, get a Cheetah's Plum, get rid of this ridiculous thing and give it back to Fairgraves, so you can just sail off, never to be seen again, until next difficulty, that is. Depending on how long the trial and the hedges and stuff take, we might actually tack Dominus on top of that. And then the episode afterwards, we're gonna go into the Labyrinth and see what that is all about. Currently level 36, probably by the time I'm facing Dominus I'm gonna be 37. And then the mace is gonna be 37 or 38. So I think level wise I'm actually doing pretty well. I mean the Labyrinth I think is level is 33. So I'm slightly over leveled, so should be good. But I'm gonna stop talking now. Thank you very much for watching and I hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.